Alright guys, we're gonna get started here in just 1 second.
This is this between us.
The number one podcast in the world.
This is
the JBU.Show featuring Austin,
from the Miller Talk Podcast,
Allen,
the American Sincerist,
and now your host,
Cam Allen.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
And to say, I'm gonna get mine also.
And so,
Alright, how's it going everybody? My name is Chris, and this is the JBU Show. Joining me tonight is my co-host from the Miller Talk Podcast, Austin. How you doing?
I'm good.
Hello
everyone, and welcome to this Wednesday night.
Yeah, I literally had like a fit of sneezing right before I went on, so my eyes are all watery now. I can't think straight.
It's crazy how political speech has changed so much since the 1960s.
Yeah, it really is, you know. It it saddens me, but it also very clearly, you actually sent me that video this morning from Babylon B, and it so clearly highlights exactly what the problem with this country is. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and we'll put the whole video up on screen because it really helps
my fellow Americans,
demonstrate or illustrate.
ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
And to say, I'm gonna get mine also.
And so,
Now, of course, we all voted for Kamala, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those were Democrats,
Both
believe
Democrats,
it or not. Yeah.
too.
It's, I want to say it's hard to believe, but it's just not. Here are some Kamala voters, though, that, making the rounds on X today. The longer I watch this video, the more sad for my nation I become. I am extremely disappointed, first of all, that nobody stepped in between there. Millennials or Gen Z, I guess, are lucky, because I guess I am a millennial. Gen Z is lucky. I have never had somebody do that in front of me, because I will fuck your video up. Anyway. I don't know how I ended up there, but do you notice that the person filming appears to be the mother of the child?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're all wearing masks. And then not a single person says or does anything. Nobody in the store comes up and is like, hey, you see all these fucking people shopping here? Take that shit outside. Nothing. None of it. Costco, one of the only stores I've been kicked out of for carrying a gun.
Wow.
Yep. It was like a very angry lesbian tranny, too, that kicked me out. And, yeah, she was
not an
very
occurrence I'll
unhappy.
ever have to run into here in America.
Say what now?
So I'm glad that's something I'll never have to run into over here in America.
Yeah, well, in the communist states of WAC, Washington, Oregon, and California. It is
I've seriously probably only
frequent hazard
seen
of life.
3 trans people in my life.
I saw 3 before I walked into my room, my studio, from my bedroom. No, it's not that bad, obviously. But in fact, it's actually...
Everyone clip that.
It's died down quite a bit in recent years, but still pretty bad. Speaking of clipping that, I have a little something for you.
Help! 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 Help!
All right, that's enough of that. Anyway, so right before I went on the air, I realized why Unite the Right and Patriot Front were trending. I had noticed that Trump had tweeted some stuff about the Southern Poverty Law Center, and we've been saying for a long time that Nick Fuentes, there's some odd things about this character. And, you know, his supporters love to come down on us because we are not supporters. But there's just some things like, if you wanted somebody to fuck up the right, it kind of seems like a Fuentes would be a perfect opportunity. And it turns out that the Southern Poverty Law Center, according to the FBI, has been funding imaginary hate groups like the Unite the Right rally in order to protest, in order to make more funds. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, we've gone through their website before. I mean, they label the most benign things hate groups. It's absolutely absurd. And of course, there's almost no left-wing groups on there. Antifa's not on there. It's only right-wing groups. And they only exist to generate money. But if you remember, there's something interesting about that Unite the Right rally. We'll come into that in a second. Let's listen to Kash Patel first. Also, there might be some breaking news right now of some bombings over Tehran. We'll look at that here in a second.
What we're here today is to announce what the general just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front.
I wonder if American Front, he meant Patriot Front, or if American Front is actually something.
I can look that up.
You notice he said Unite. Yeah, please do. You notice he said Unite the Right. And Nick Fuentes came on the scene through this very time and organization.
What we're doing with Unite the Right is let's put every important person in our movement in
He's
one
so young.
place, and everyone sees us as a threat to civilization. I mean, isn't that kind of worrisome? I don't know. I mean, I hope I'm not concerning people. I'm still going to go. You know, you can't live your life in fear, but you think of it that Kessler, Enoch, Spencer, James Alsop, Baked Alaska. I mean, like, everyone's going to be there. Sam Hyde, Lauren Southern, people from Rebel Media are going to be there. And I don't know, is that a great idea? I don't know who thought it'd be a great idea. Like, hey, let's all go to Lee Park. Everyone thinks we're Nazis and bigots, and let's just go in the middle of an open field, all the important people. Look, I understand the importance of rallying the troops, building the morale, uniting the right. That's why I'm going, but I am a little worried about that part of it, that you might get some nut job, some Travis Bickle LARPer down there with some bad intentions and some bad ideas.
What do you guys think? Think Fuentes is controlled up? Because he always talks about how he's this extreme pro-America, pro-right-wing, pro-conservative guy, pro-Christian, and yet everything he does seems to be against Trump, against conservatives, and against America. I get that he uses Trump as an excuse to say you should vote for Democrats, but the moral of the story that he's telling is to vote for Democrats. Doesn't really matter what the reason is. That sounds the opposite of conservative to me. What do you think, Austin?
I think not only is it the opposite of conservative, but it's also the opposite of Christian. He claims to be a Catholic and Christian. You're going to vote for something that's obviously not. You're going to vote against your own principles and stuff just to get at someone else. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, just to spite them, right? Unless we forget this Unite the Right rally is the one where the fine people on both sides hoax came from that only recently did the media actually tell the truth about. They carried this lie on for 8 years. That Donald Trump said that there were very fine people amongst the Nazis in Charlotte, Virginia,
you had people,
that day.
and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly.
That's exactly what he said. And finally, PolitiFact and all of the left-wing fact-checking sites and all of the mainstream media sites tell the truth about that, yet you still have
people, and
millions.
I'm not talking about... You had people...
knock it off. You had millions on the left. And even in mainstream media still that claim Donald Trump said that he called Nazis very fine people. It's absolutely insane. That video, by the way, has been available the entire time. That entire speech has been available from all of the mainstream media outlets the entire time. They knew they were lying. They don't care.
Ran for president in 2020 because of what I saw in Charlottesville in August of 2017.
Oh, that's what it was.
Extremists coming out of the woods, carrying torches, their veins bulging from their necks, carrying Nazi swastikas, and chanting the same exact anti-Semitic bile.
Were they swinging a chain too?
In the early 30s. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and the Ku Klux Klan, so emboldened by a president then in the White House that they saw as an ally.
Absolutely absurd. You also had David Duke, who randomly showed up to a AF-PAC event in 2024. Duke called Fuentes his comrade. He was behind the Unite the Right rally as well, where Nick entered the public scene. So it seems that maybe something has finally broken the Fuentes crowd, and maybe, just maybe, they'll start to come back to reality a little bit. And what about Tucker Carlson, who has gone down the exact same road? I don't think he's paid by SPLC, to be clear. But,
So do you want to know what the American Front is?
yeah, go ahead. Give it to me.
It's a white supremacist and racist skinhead organization founded in 1984 in San Francisco, California.
Interesting.
Neo-Nazis, supposedly.
Reason for going down to Charlottesville over the weekend was to demonstrate. It was to show solidarity for a cause which has not been talked about.
To show solidarity. Does that sound like a right-wing phrase at all? When have you ever heard anyone on the right say the phrase, show solidarity? Think about that. Do you think maybe he wasn't quite trained in right-wing speak enough yet? I'm going to play that again.
Reason for going down to Charlottesville over the weekend was to demonstrate. It was to show solidarity for a cause which has not been talked about in the mainstream media, which the American people never got a vote on, and that is the fundamental transformation of the reason for going down to Charlottesville over the weekend was to demonstrate. It was to show solidarity for a cause which has not been talked about in the mainstream media, which the American people never got a vote on, and that is the fundamental transformation of the reason.
I don't know what he was going to say there, fundamental transformation of something, but the solidarity thing there, that really immediately stands out to me, because I have literally never heard anyone on the right, except for sarcastically, say the word solidarity. It was to show solidarity. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's take a look at Patriot Front. We've been saying for a long time, how clearly Patriot Front looks like a staged thing. It's just too weird. And when there was a time when a group of actual conservatives, I think it was Proud Boys actually, confronted a few of the Patriot Front guys and pulled their masks down, and all of a sudden their tune changed completely. It didn't prove that they were a fake right-wing group, but they were very concerned. Let me see here. So we don't right now have anything that directly links Patriot Front to SPLC, but it seems extremely likely if they were behind Unite the Right, if they're behind the some of these other groups, that they might well be behind these guys too. Because everything about this group, and I'll show you a video from them here in just a second that demonstrates this, is very stereotypical what the left claims the right is. And nobody on the right has ever claimed this group. Nobody on the right knows anybody in these groups. Nobody is like, yeah, I hung out with those dudes, I know who they are, or anything. They've never been on any of the right-wing podcasts or shows, nothing. They don't have any public spokesperson whatsoever. What group do you know that doesn't have a public spokesperson to go on the podcast and to generate revenue and interest in the group and all of these things? According to Alec Lace on X, Patriot Front was always the most obvious fake white supremacy hustle. This leaked video should have spelled it out for anyone paying attention. Didn't need the fresh SPLC indictment to spot the grift, but if you still buy it, you're the mark. So take a look at this video real quick. I have not pre-watched this, so I'm not sure exactly what we're about to see.
Oh.
Life, liberty, victory. Life, liberty, victory. Want to check it out? Damn, son, that might be a cut.
We gotta start the podcast like that. You know?
Seek fucking high. Let's fucking go. I can say that now that it's over. Cheers! Life, liberty, victory. Life, liberty, victory! Want to check it out? Damn, son, that might be a cut. That's a good take right there. Seek fucking high. Let's fucking go. I can say that now that it's over. Cheers! Life, liberty, victory.
Do you know anybody that acts like this?
No. I did when I was 13, though.
Remember the video we watched of the leftist, who didn't go to jail, by the way, that infiltrated January 6th for the explicit purpose of inciting right-wingers to do something on that day? Like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago we watched it, and he was putting on his MAGA clothes, and what he put on was almost identical to this. And look, I get it. It's not hard to copy a conservative's look, right? We all wear 511 jeans and black shirts, essentially. But I don't know, man. I know that whatever the case, these are not real people. They're not serious people. And the truth comes out in the end, so I guess we'll find out. Let's see, here's an alleged response from Patriot Front. This guy's actually not wearing a mask. He says, the Patriot Front is a true, authentic, and faithful movement of and for American patriots. PF is explicitly anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic, anti-Talmudist, and anti-Zionist. Are they infiltrated? Yes, roughly 0.1%. However, Jewish and other foreign infiltration into the FBI, CIA, etc. is 100-fold higher, as is the infiltration in the Republican Democrat Party. They are banned on every social media platform. We know their names and faces because in 2022, Coeur d'Alene, police released the names and mugshots of 31 individuals who were arrested. Anyone who slanders them in light of the Jewish SPLC indictment is either a Jew, a Shabbos gay, whatever that means, or a low IQ moron. Right. Okay. If you say so.
Today was the largest action we've ever put on as an organization. It was remarkably successful, and we accomplished every single objective we set out to for the day. As before, the organization is going viral on social media in response to our mass public assembly. I've seen all the arguments, and I'm sure more will be made very shortly. Let's break a few down. If our goal was to bolster a narrative about patriots being violent, to damn us all to prison cells, why were we so peaceful today? With so many eyes on us, we acted the same peaceful and disciplined conduct we always do. If we were a liberal NGO project to make conservatives look bad, why is our message so professional and patriotic? 100 PF marches.
Pretty sure you just answered your own question. Why is our message so professional? Well, because it was thought up by professionals.
Don't make conservatism look as bad as one beer gut. Even liberals are getting in on the theories now, so no, we aren't agents deporting your precious invaders, although I wish them luck. I've dedicated my entire adult life to this cause. You'd think if it was some sort of charade, the curtains would have been closed by now. I'm still here. We're still here. Not one of the millions of words that have been spent to slander us have changed that, nor will they. I've disproven these claims again and again. That's not what I'm here to do now, because as much as I hope people lift themselves out of the pit of lies they've found themselves in, even this still helps us. PF has been built up as this big and mysterious conspiracy, and those who care to investigate have found us and realized the truth. Some of them were marching with us today. Of course, most knew we were genuine all along. In any case, keep talking. We'll keep growing. We'll keep building. And you know what? For a lot of our critics out there, if you're a true-born American, we're fighting for you. We're building a better nation, even for you, whether you like it or not. You may thank us someday. You may not. But that's not why we do it.
I wouldn't
if that
count
wasn't
on it.
apparent enough already. So where do we go from here? I'll tell you. It's no secret. PF appears in the public eye as a great and unanimous column, and we are. But what will happen now is all these hundreds of men will disperse into the continent to any one of the nearly 24 networks the organization has established. They will meet with the many other members who weren't able to be with us today and tell the stories of their experience. Their families will have lunch in the park next weekend as the men train. Some will catch up on the reading for their book clubs on their long ride home. They may greet members at their workplace on Monday morning. They could be scouring the streets of a city near you, dispersing nationalist materials sooner than you'd think. Oh, and don't forget all the interviews we'll be conducting to admit new members. Patriot Front is local to every single inch of this continent, and sooner or later, we'll be here again, on your phone or computer, in your diet of news for the day. I'll see you then. Oh, and if you get impatient, you know where to find us.
Yeah,
What do you think about
any
that?
square inch of this country is where I can find you, right? So it should be pretty easy to find you.
Yeah, weirdly enough, I don't see any near me, and there are like many square inches around me.
Well, square feet, but
Same thing. I don't know, man. What is it that Patriot Front is trying to accomplish? That's the thing that really, like, that's, to me, that's what makes it so odd. Because the only thing it seems to accomplish is negative press for conservatives. So, if you accomplished all your goals, what were they? Negative press for conservatives? Because that's all you got. That's why it seems like a fake group. Even Proud Boys, they had mission statements. They had reasons. They started showing up where Antifa was being violent to protect people that were trying to peacefully protest and exercise their rights. They weren't just out to be out. They were creating a place for patriotic men to assemble. That's not what you claim to be doing. In fact, I don't know what you claim to be doing except generating bad press for conservatives. That's what makes it so fake to me. Do you have any idea? Let me see if they have a web page. Let's look right now and see. Cuz I've looked into them before for previous episodes, but not in a long time. And I just don't. Does Patriot Front have a website? Like, what are you trying to do? PatriotFront.us. All right, this is their website. See our latest action. This is the one that he was talking about. A voice for the common man. Members take to the public space with stickers, flyers, posters, banners, demonstrations, and more. Messages in the public space serve to promote patriotic politics and combat anti-nationalist messaging. Okay. Food drives, disaster relief efforts, and family gatherings. Activists are able to help American communities in need and encourage the lifestyle of national service and social virtues. When have you ever seen Patriot Front doing that? Look, if you are part of this group and you're willing to come on the show, mask or not, but you got to show me who you are before I'll let you on. If you want to wear your mask, because I'm not going to, vouch for somebody being legit if they can't prove to me they're legit. But anyway, if you want to come on and tell me that I'm wrong and this is what you guys actually do when you're out doing these things, maybe you don't do it under the Patriot Front name, you're doing it under some other name or whatever, fine, but I don't see it. Like, this is all a beautiful NGO-style website, but none of this... So, hold on, my thing froze. Give me a second. Here we go. These guys, in this video, right here, there you go, are not these guys. You see what I'm saying? So you say all these things, but you're not actually doing them from what I can tell. So what is the goal? What is the purpose of this group besides to generate bad press for conservatives? instances recorded. That's a lot of dots. Let's see. I also
Is this just a bunch of guys that wanted to be in the military but couldn't?
I
So this is just
guess.
the direction they went.
Well, and I don't, you know, as somebody who very vehemently supports and would like to see the revival of the civilian militia, like that doesn't bother me in a sense, but because this is a political group, not a civil militia, it's just silly. All right, I can't go back on your website, apparently. Here you go. What is Patriot Front?
Patriot Front is a fraternal, nationalist, activist organization dedicated to upholding the traditions, defending the people, and transforming the public spaces of the American nation. Through changing the minds, lives, and bodies of our countrymen, we hope to create lasting effects on the course and direction of the country. Patriot Front is active, nationwide, and committed to an ambitious array of efforts. The organization believes in the ethnic interest of Americans as those descended from the original European settlers of this land. The representative and traditional models of government found in our past as a republic, and the vital need for the men of the nation to take an active role in organizing patriotic politics beyond the electoral process. The time in which our nation's challenges could be conquered by voting alone has long since passed, if there ever was such a time at all. It has become necessary to reinvigorate the lifestyle of our nation's men with the virtues that made us a nation, that led our ancestors to conquer a continent. The decline of America may be slowed by the actions of politicians, but to truly turn the tides of history, we must do more. We must live in such a way that makes our subjugation impossible and our independence inevitable. Our activism champions free speech by turning the public space into the public forum it ought to be. We persist beyond the censorship of conservative and liberal institutions alike by taking our ideas into the streets and plazas of America and meeting with our countrymen directly. Our efforts are seen by many millions in the form of marches, banners, protests, stencils, posters, and more. We engage in numerous and ever-expanding charitable works to uplift Americans in need, whether they be networks of self-improvement built to advance and defend the prosperity of our members.
So here's the thing. This sounds exactly like NGO nonsense, too. He said a lot of words in the last minute and 47 seconds. But what has he actually said? Nothing. He hasn't said anything. Listen to this first 30 seconds again.
Patriot Front is a fraternal, nationalist, activist organization dedicated to upholding the traditions, defending the people, and transforming the public spaces of the American nation. Through changing the minds, lives, and bodies of our countrymen, we hope to create lasting effects on the course and direction of the country.
Okay, that sounds great and all, but it means nothing. That's political speak. I just... If this was the goal of Patriot Front, it's a worthy goal. It sounds great. Like, everything hits what a patriotic conservative American would like to hear, which is the first red flag. Why is it that the only thing you guys do is get together and fucking march in your stupid outfits? If you're actually doing all these other things, where are we here?
To be,
right?
No,
stop. If you're doing all these things, right? Why are you not doing those things as a group? It seems to be a bunch of individuals doing some things, and then the group gets together and marches in their stupid fucking formations. You should be out helping the community, in your stupid formations. If that's what your goal is, and it's a worthy goal, it's a goal I'm all for. I agree. The fixing this country starts with the individual, starts with groups. I hesitate to say like this, but with groups of men, basically, doing the right thing in their communities. Marching for clicks has nothing to do with that. And the fact is, you are seeking attention for what you are doing, not seeking to do what you're doing. Which is why it all just seems like bullshit. That's why it seems like bullshit. What do you think, Austin? Am I being unfair?
No. It's awfully weird.
Yeah, I mean, none of these clips where they claim to be showing, you know, all this other stuff that they're doing, are they in their fucking stupid uniforms, flying their flags, and doing all that shit. They're in regular clothes. So they're not doing it as Patriot Front. And, like, do you have to do that? No, but if the goal is to build this group, to create groups of men around the country in all the various cities and stuff that do these things for their communities, then you would think that you would want to be doing these things in the most visual, public way possible. Instead, the only thing that you do in the most public, visual way possible is fucking march and shout stupid shit. It pisses me off because I want to be in favor of something like this, assuming these guys aren't, you know, I don't know exactly what their ideology is as far as how aligned conservatively it is. If they're just a bunch of racists, then obviously I have no interest. But taking them at their word based on the videos we just watched and ignoring all of the press and all of that we know lie all the time, I want to be in favor of something like this. But I find it very difficult when you're just using a bunch of political doublespeak and the only thing you are seeming to accomplish publicly is going out and creating a bad name for conservatives instead of going out and helping your communities and building stronger men and all that stuff. I don't know. I did notice, though, that one of my criticisms that they didn't have a spokesperson, they seem to have taken my advice in the last 10 minutes and gotten themselves a spokesperson, since that one guy does appear unmasked on his website. There's 3 other tabs here: Action, Manifesto, and Social. Let's take a look at Manifesto. They have a quote from George Washington: "Our cruel and unrelenting enemy leaves us no choice but a brave resistance, or the most abject submission. This is all we can expect. We have therefore to resolve to conquer or die." America stands at the crossroads of an era. An uncertain future lies in the hands of a new generation, which has been given a simple choice between sovereignty and subjugation. America suffers under the rule of an occupied government. Tyrants with delusions of infinite power have declared the American people too weak to revolt. The damage done to the nation will not be fixed with the approval of a dysfunctional system which remains American in name only. Democracy has failed this once great nation. The resurgence of the American spirit will bring the death of tyranny. The torch of revolution has been lit. When our pre-Columbian forefathers left their European homes, they found a savage continent. They held a variety of purpose, yet against the harsh life on the frontier and the common enemy and the strange and unexplored reaches of America yet to be touched by civilization, they found a common cause and a common identity as Americans. From the very nations and cultures of Europe, and a new nation was forged in the flames of conquest. E pluribus unum was the new creed that bound our people together with their pan-European identity as Americans. To be an American is to be the descendant of conquerors, pioneers, visionaries, and explorers. The unique identity was given to us by our ancestors, and this national spirit remains firmly rooted in our blood. Our mission is a hard reset on the nation we see today. A return to the traditions and virtues of our forefathers. The same spirit that urged our ancestors onward to create this nation will once again be brought to light and a new America will be built within its current dilapidated, shameful iteration. Generation after generation lived in war and strife so that their descendants may know peace. It was their duty to give their lives in such a way. The torch is now passed to our generation, and it is our duty to make the sacrifices the same. From within a society ruled by those who have been unable to foresee any horizons beyond themselves, our goal is to create a union of Americans building the future. This new generation of patriots will live with loyalties to a greater cause and a grand vision. Yada, 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 yada. All sounds nice. What are you saying? America needs a generation of brave men to fearlessly rise to face all threats to their collective interests. A generation steeled in their effort to realize their grand vision of a new nation. This gathering of the faithful, the true inheritors of America, will urge our people onward. To form a new and just state, we must first instill a reformed national spirit within our people, a people free from vices of the modern world, and a people with a fervor to see themselves free. The cohesion and unity of our people will be the most powerful weapon to be used in the tireless struggle for the nation and its timeless cause. Every soul who embodies the struggle will be an indispensable component of our united effort for national sovereignty and collective liberty. Number 1, democracy has failed America, and it's necessary to organize outside of conventional electoral politics. Number 2, America has a unique national identity founded in European discovery and settlement. Number 3, we will organize patriots with an active and life-encompassing loyalty to the nation. Number 4, the present state has lost the mantle of legitimacy derived from the founding and must face alteration or abolition. Number 5, our goal is to effect the formation of a republic which reflects a reforged spirit among our people. Number 6, an inherent meaning of life is derived from one's service to the collectives of his natural identity. An inherent meaning of life is derived from one's service to the collectives of his natural identity. Okay. Number 7, the state has abandoned our people's interest, and we will act as a virtuous state should to restore and defend prosperity. And number 8, we embody a multi-generational effort to set America on a patriotic path. None of those mean anything. Materialism, mass migration, bureaucracy have deprived America of dignity and greatness. Okay, there's at least some specific targets. The element of nationhood and natural distinctions between sexes and race are intrinsic and undeniable. Okay. Governments must respect the laws of nature as they cannot be changed. Good. The act of restoring our nation to a healthy condition will coincide with the restoration of personal virtues and character among our countrymen. Also fine. There's a balance between viewing society as many disparate individuals or a single unanimous collective, which must be realized. The natural collectives we are born into, family, community, nation, and race, have been obscured so that they may be tyrannized. A virtuous American society would balance personal liberty alongside social responsibility for the betterment of both. Artificial identities are commodities that are designed to deprive us of natural loyalties and obligations. A righteous nation-state will respect the laws of nature within its legislative action. Our work is the true and faithful interpretation of our nation's legacy, wielded against modern world challenges. I don't know. So like I said, if you have anything to do with this group or anything, I might see if I can get a hold of this guy that has been talking in these videos. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know in what ways I'm wrong, because I'm not going to condemn a group just because the leftists say to condemn them. But I see a lot of fancy wording here and not a lot of anything of value. That's all it is. All right, let's move on.
Just want to talk to you.
Yeah, I'll meet you down at my local police department. No, I'm kidding. All right. Hang on one sec. Let's go to a video for a second so I can take care of this. Let's go with the date with a looks maxer.
Get ready with me while I talk about a time I went on a Tinder date with a looks maxer and got catfished. So for some context, we met on the double date feature of Tinder, but my friend and his friend weren't really texting on that group chat, so we just ended up adding each other on Snap and then snapping each other for like 6 months. He kept asking me out like on dates and stuff, but I just really de-gaff and like I don't really have the time for dates and stuff like that. But one day I was just kind of bored, so I asked him if he wanted to go and grab some ramen with me. So mind you, the only time I saw this guy's face is over Snapchat when we were snapping for the 6-month period, or over occasional FaceTimes and on his TikTok account here as well. I wouldn't say he's like known on TikTok, but he has a pretty large following where he posts like his looks max stuff and like thirst traps and like advice on how to like get better, I guess. So keep in mind that this guy lives in Fort Lauderdale and I live in Miami, so it's like around an hour drive, give or take. And after I texted him saying that I wanted to grab like lunch with him, it takes him like an hour to get ready and then an hour to like actually like come here and drive to me. So he texts me, he arrives, and I go down to his car and I say hi to him. He looks nothing like his TikToks, let me tell you. This guy is like catfishing maxing. And the wrong place that we were going to was downtown, which is like around 20 to 30 minutes from me. And the entire car ride, we're just not speaking. Like he's just blasting like SD Kid, Blade, like opium as hell shit. I'm like, okay. So we get to the wrong place. He gets out of the car. Keep in mind, he said he was 6'3".
Okay. As the resident Gen Zer here, I'm having a hard time keeping up with this. Are you keeping up with this?
For the most part.
Okay. Just because as the current only millennial on the show, I've lost like 50% of this. So as long as you, the resident Gen Z, is keeping up, then we're okay.
I'm 5'10". That hole was too
Oh, what did she mean by Blade opium shit? Is this some sort of hip hop reference? Okay.
I believe Blade is a band.
Okay.
She's also starting to just talk like a woman in general, so you know.
Well, yeah, I can't fault you for that, but
he was driving like a little Mercedes or whatever car he was driving. He didn't even reach like the top hood of the car. Like that bitch was short. He was maybe like 5'6" at most, mind you, 5'10". So we go inside. The place is like
so wait,
low
did
key
she say
booming
that he
because
was
it's like a new
shorter than
ramen
her?
spot. So they have to sit us at the high tops.
So she said that he claimed he was 6'2" or 6'3" in his profile, but he was only 5'6". Something's not true there. Either
she said she's 5'10".
Yeah, she said she's 5'10". But there's no way that somebody that's 5'6" was in any way trying to pass himself off as 6'3". Like,
yeah, that's a pretty bold lie.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm 5'11" and a half. I will say I'm 6 foot because a half an inch I think I can get away with. I would never say I'm 6'8".
I'm 6'4", and I say I'm 6'4" because I'm 6'4".
You know what? Fuck you. That's easy for you to say because you're over 6 feet.
A lot of people come up to me and tell me like, "Oh, I'm 6'5", and I'm like seeing over them." So I'm like, I don't know if you're lying or.
Anyway.
We get the menus and he's like, wait, I'm like order maxing right now. The fuck? So every time he like does something or like says something, he's like, oh, I'm this maxing, I'm that maxing, bitch, how about you shut the fuck up maxing at this point? Like just go nonverbal again. So we both order our food, we both get like a bowl of ramen, and in the time span that we're waiting for our food, he like starts over analyzing me on like my looks and like what I need to change and like max or whatever, and he's talking about like your maxilla is recessed. Where the food at? So then he like goes on his phone and he starts like thirst trapping and like that freaking angle that he does where he catfishes the fuck out of people. And he's like thirst trapping to like looks maxing audios like while I'm sitting like right next to him. So our food ends up coming after what feels like forever. I start eating my food and this guy genuinely goes, wait, you're big maxing right now. The fuck do you mean I'm big maxing right now? I'm eating my ramen.
What does big maxing mean?
I'm guessing he's implying that she's getting fatter.
What are you talking about? And over the period of us eating our food, like, we're just, like, not really talking. And anytime he would say something, it's to say that I'm something maxing, this maxing. And then at some point, he literally asked me, he's like, oh, how does it feel like to go, like, out on a date with a TikToker? Bitch, fuck you and your TikTok. What are you talking about? You're not a celebrity. Like, I'm not on a date with Michael B. Jordan right now. Like, I'm mad confused. Like, just shut the fuck up and eat your food. Like... So we finish eating our food. He gets like the tap to pay thing. He taps in and he's like, wait, why am I brand maxing right now? So we finish eating, paid, and then we get up and like he's cracking jokes the entire time, talking about I'm this maxing, I'm that mogging. Like, so I thought it was my turn to crack a joke. So
all right, mogging.
Mogging?
Yeah.
You don't know what that is?
No.
It's like, I don't know. Stunting, like
okay.
I'm like,
so he's
yo,
maxing.
why am I hype mogging right now?
Mm-hmm.
He did not find that shit funny. He literally looked me dead in the face and was like, the fuck is wrong with you? You told me you were 6'3", ho. What the fuck do you mean what's wrong with me? I'm 5'10", you're 5'6". Like, yes, I'm hype mogging you right now, and I'm actually being dead ass too. We get in the car, it's like mad silent, he's playing his Blade, whatever, and it's like rush hour, so it takes us like 40 minutes to get back to my apartment instead of the usual 20. We get back to my apartment, he's like, can I come upstairs? Fuck no! Fuck no! What the fuck do you mean can I come upstairs? No,
Who
no.
fucking
like,
asks that?
No. So then I'm like, oh, like, my roommates are home and like, I just don't think that they would be comfortable with that. Bitch, I live in a studio. I don't got roommates. So I leave his car, I go back to my apartment, I open my phone and it's a large paragraph of him analyzing me and what I need to change, giving me advice on this, this, and that, saying I gotta do my eyebrows like this, gotta do my lashes like that, I gotta fix my recessed maxilla.
Paid the
Still don't know what the fuck
$99.99 for
a
advice
recessed
from
maxilla
Andrew
is, but
Tate,
okay. And I still to this day
Andrew
don't
Tate's
know if he was
AI
like trolling me
sounding.
or like being dead ass and trying to give me advice of what I need to change, even though I didn't ask for that shit, but okay. Nonetheless, that shit was weird as fuck, so I found some hype boosters off of Amazon, I just sent him the link to it. But take this as your sign to not go on Tinder dates with looks maxers because they will catfish you. They're not as tall as they say. But I was just mad hungry and I wanted to go try their one place downtown, so it was free food for me.
There it is.
Thank you guys for listening to my story time.
So at the end of it, still.
Yeah, you're right.
Peace.
I wanted it to be, there we go. I wanted it to be like that. Because I just want to point out, as she says she's catfished by a looks maxer, that this whole time she's literally catfishing herself, as women do every single day. And look, I don't give a shit that you wear makeup. Like, I'm not telling women that they can't wear makeup. But first of all, the magic that some of y'all do with makeup, that's beyond catfishing. Like, that should be fraud in a court of law. Regardless, I've never liked it anyway. Like, if I can see the 8 pounds of makeup you're wearing, I'm probably just gonna go home. I don't want that shit all over me.
Yeah.
But regardless, like, so
I mean, she dragged this man, but he still paid.
That's true, and see, that's kind of the thing. Like, as bad as he is, and don't get me wrong, I'm not giving any breaks to this dude, assuming he's real and this isn't fake, because it very well could be. It's fucking TikTok. Who knows? The whole he claimed he was 6'3", but was actually 5'6" thing leads me to believe that it might not be a real story, because like that's just too far. And I don't think any guy would be that. One thing to say, I'm 6 foot, when you're anything under that, just to get past the initial, you know, because women, if it doesn't say 6 foot, they'll just ignore you, right? On dating apps. So I can understand that, but to go all the way to 6'3" when you're only 5'6" just seems unlikely. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm an honest guy, but the whole criticizing her during the date and sending her a text of criticisms after the date, like, that is very much part of the, like, incel looks maxing, we're gonna turn the tables on them sort of bullshit. Yeah, it comes off insecure as fuck. Like, don't listen to these people. And don't fucking... Like I said, it sounds like he took Andrew Tate's, $99 fucking AI course on how to meet women or something. It's just kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
And all of this, the woman, the man, all of this is something that people do when there's literally nothing about themselves worth talking about. The only reason you're fucking look maxing is because you're not fucking credit maxing. You're not fucking house maxing. You're not fucking working your ass off maxing. We don't do that shit because we got shit we're doing, including a podcast, yes. Still better than fucking hitting my face with a hammer. Hang on. Just to be clear, this is not sponsored by Craftsman. There we go. Am I doing it right? Let me just see if I can break my jaw here. There's something about that that physically hurts me as a man. And I don't mean the hammer.
Mm-hmm. Men used to form their jaws by smoking cigarettes and cigars all day long.
Goddamn right.
Do it with.
I used to have a squeaky ass voice. I started smoking cigarettes just to get rid of that shit. And because if I don't have cancer when I'm 80, the fuck kind of life did I live? Tell ya. A pussy life. That's what it was. Anyway.
Let's get her on the show. Let's just start messaging everyone we show their videos.
At Drianne Bellaza. Messenger. I can't remember what I said. I said something that she retweeted. Oh, I said so he acted like a woman on TikTok. Anyway, what else do we got here? I got a lot of crazy women. All right, let's do this couple. You've been wanting to do the male advice anyway. This drops this right in here. This is yikes.
Pause.
So you're walking around the same?
Yes, I walk around just as much as you do.
You load semi-trucks?
Do you do that by hand or do you use a forklift for that? Where you sit
still
and
have
control?
You still have to know how to do all that stuff.
Yes, so you have a mentally heavy job.
Have you loaded a truck with a forklift?
I know that you don't use muscle to do that.
Have you used a crane?
You also don't use muscle to do that. You're
How do
using
you know that?
machinery,
ton of
like
muscle to
you're
use a crane.
operating a machine.
A forklift,
You're
a
not
little
like
less, but
back-breaking labor every single day. So when you're doing the whole, I'm so exhausted. I'm exhausted every day from
Mentally
working
exhausted.
and figuring out food for our kids and taking care of our
Yeah.
kids and getting
So
our
add
kids to bed and all
physically
that.
on
And
top
then you
of it.
get home at 11 or whatever and you just immediately get on your game.
As
and
you can
so
tell,
when I
these
wake up
guys
in
are
the
What am I
night,
supposed to do at 11 o'clock at night when everyone's sleeping?
What are you playing?
On my game? Whatever's on there. Right now, Marvel Rivals.
Show me your left hand. Damn it. Give me your phone.
Mine?
Open your phone. Right hand? Damn it. Wait, show me your palms. Oh, no, I mean, he has some marks of a working man. He has some marks of a working man.
And I wear
Your phone?
gloves.
Okay. Her state of mind is a slightly unpleasant day.
Wow. It's today?
Yes. Man, I'm sorry. You're at 1.6 miles a day total.
no, I will say I did move
Austin, how many do you do a
locations.
day?
So
7 to 8, 9 sometimes.
Just checking.
I'm not walking around as much as I
Whoa,
was.
all of a sudden the goalpost has been shoved to the other side of
Do
the
at
city.
least 2 miles
the
a
moment
day,
I actually
and
look
I
at
sit on my ass most of the day.
But
reality,
my point is like
1.6 miles
how are
a
you
day.
so exhausted
Me
when
too.
all? But that's all you do.
Well, if you,
literally
load
go like
trucks with a
this.
crane and you have to move the
So again,
it's
a
steel
lot of
coils.
mental.
You have to still have physical in there. If
when
you're-
you walk to the building.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
matter
have to
that he's
use the
using a
chain,
forklift.
too.
He's still
Have you ever picked up a
physically
chain?
working, I promise.
You know how heavy those are? You still have to have that physical in there. Plus, you have to wear a hard hat, arm guards.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have
I
boots
hate
on.
wearing
You have to
hard
wear all
hats.
that shit.
Dude, 1.4 for the month of January and
There's
February.
no way.
Yes.
I'm walking around my office all day. There's
Dude, and
no
it
way.
calculates with your phone as well. It
See,
calculates
but I don't
with
have
your-
my phone on me at the office because I can't.
But if you don't have your watch, I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is there was a while there that I didn't have that on because
Bro, I'm a fat who literally just sits down and films all day, and I average 2.6 miles a day for those couple months. And I'm a fat that doesn't
Well,
do
but I'm not saying I'm physically
Bro,
exhausted
you with
every
your
day.
kid is only moving 1.4. Yes, you did. No, you
Mentally.
cut back to that.
So how
Yes,
much are
I
the
walk
kids
around
moving,
just
you
as
know?
much as you do. I'm exhausted every day.
Yeah, you literally just sat there and said, I'm exhausted every day.
Yeah, mentally,
she's
I'm not
running
physically
around.
exhausted. I can give you the honest.
Getting the
I'm not
hammer out
physically
was
like,
easier
oh my
than
gosh, my
putting it
back, my
back.
legs.
Funny how your tune changes while you're here, which
So-
almost makes me kind of a
God, I wish I had that ability in real arguments with women. Play that back. Just play it back real quick.
agree with a potential part that he said. Listen, I do think you're probably maybe a majority part of the problem. I'll be honest, but he said in
Maybe a
private,
majority part.
with us before that he's just endlessly trying to keep up with the bossy woman in the house, always micromanaging everything in our lives, and that is exhausting. That is mentally exhausting too.
Mentally exhausting. You think it's for
Ask him.
to
Ask him. He's the one who
have
said
3
it.
children
Ask
and one
him.
of
He's
them-
the one that said it.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. I mean,
Do you think I'm not exhausted micromanaging you all the time?
yeah, but you're
I'm
micromanaging, but I
taking care
can't
of
do
my
anything
child.
how
I'm
I.
taking care of our other child.
Every
and I'm
time-
telling you, hey, could you maybe fold this basket of laundry that's been sitting?
No, he works. He's getting home at 11. How much is he working? You know?
Good question. And yeah, I mean it. Yeah. I just. Both things are tiring, sure, but. These guys are not going to make it very long. We'll start there.
No. I mean, they could. They could figure it out, but, you know.
Maybe, with a lot of help. It amazes me that people like stay on this show at all. I mean, he just fucking roasts these people, and they just sit there and take it, often with a smile. And like, good for them. You should you shouldn't get up and
Yeah.
leave just because someone's being honest. But
Well, I mean, that's what the show is. Like, he literally tells them before they come on, hey, look, I'm going to make fun of you. That's what my show is. I just make fun of you guys. But you also get free financial help. So
yeah,
he gives them a lot of stuff, you know, free courses in case they, you know, they may not have any college experience, maybe not even a high school diploma or something. He gets them on a right track to get better jobs that pay better and gives them free books and all kinds of stuff. And so it's a fun show to watch.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're going to be a stay-at-home mom, then that's the job that you are doing. You don't get to put that job off on your husband now that he's home when he did his job. Like, I get that the complaint that I often hear, at least from women, is, yeah, but being a mom is 24/7. You only have to go to work 8 hours. Yeah, but it's not 24/7, right? Yes, at all points during the day, you could need to do something, but it's not 24/7. When they're babies, they nap all the time. When they're toddlers, they're watching TV, they're playing with toys, right? You gotta take care of the meals, you gotta make sure they're dressed in the morning, and you gotta take them with you when you go somewhere. Other than that, they're usually entertaining themselves. Once they get older than that, they're mostly taking care of themselves. And you just gotta make sure they don't kill each other, they don't kill themselves on accident, and they eat somewhat healthy food once in a while. Like, It's really not as hard as people make it out to be. Just like people make it out, oh, it's so fucking expensive to have a kid. No, it's not. The most expensive part of having a kid is if your kid gets into, you force them to go to college and they don't have good enough grades for a scholarship, then yes, that will be a big chunk of money. Other than that, everything else, pretty affordable. Besides maybe childbirth if you're not great with how you deal with insurance and all of that. But there are many ways to do that where it's not actually that expensive. All these people that complain, it was $50,000 to go to the hospital. It's like, yeah, because you went to a fucking hospital that is a resort where you sat in the fucking, you had 2 weeks in your hospital room with foot massages and fucking water birthing stations and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of ways to have a kid that you don't even have to go to a hospital. Believe it or not, we've been doing this for millennia. It's not actually that complicated. Anyway. As somebody that has raised both, not only my own kid, but other kids as well, my little brother, I took care of when I was younger, and other women's kids, we'll just say. It's not hard. And that doesn't mean you don't deserve a break every now and then, doesn't mean, all sorts of things, but the idea that you're working 24 hours while he's working 8 is just nonsense. I would much rather take care of 5 kids than work a hard labor job 40 hours a week. Any day of the week. Now, because I'm a man, I would probably rather work the hard labor just because I feel like I'm accomplishing something. But as far as which one is going to be easier on me, there's no question it's the kids every time.
Mm-hmm.
Just is. Most of the problems that modern young women have in parenting, they bring on themselves with bad habits and bad practices. They let their fucking kids run wild and fucking do whatever they want, which creates more headache, which creates more problems. Creates kids that don't listen, all kinds of shit. And some of that is the man's fault too, because obviously he shouldn't be allowing any of that to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to take that complaint seriously. That said, I will say, if he's got kids, and the only thing he does on the days that he goes to work is come home and play video games. I mean, if he is getting home at 11 o'clock, then there's really nothing he can do with the kids. I'll give him that. If there is an hour that he can spend with the kids or something, he probably should be doing that, just as a dad. Or spending time with his wife. Like, there is something there. Like, he should spend some time with his wife, not just play video games. Now, if he's doing a good job on his days off, and on the weekdays when he's working, he's just playing video games when he gets off, that's not necessarily a problem. But there could be some balance there that's out of whack, too. So, do you know jet fuel is a hoax?
Jet fuel is a hoax?
Jets don't actually use fuel. When I first saw this, I thought, oh, jet fuel's a hoax, like the fuel that jets use isn't actually more expensive or something. No, turns out jets don't actually use fuel. They use a little bit to get off the ground. But once they're off the ground, free energy. I'm about to blow your mind, dog.
Ball hell, let's check this out. Apparently, jet fuel isn't real. They don't really use it. That's what he's saying. Let's check this out.
Jet airlines are ripping us off and deceiving the population by telling us they use 60,000 gallons of fuel, but it's not the truth, and I'm going to prove it.
Wow.
First of all, according to the Airbus A380 specifications, each wing here can hold 38,000 gallons. Let's put that into perspective, because this...
Yeah, that is crazy. 38,000 gallons of fuel in each wing? I mean, come on, that is crazy.
10,000 gallons right here. So they're saying each wing can hold 3 8/10 of one of...
Look at that. Come on.
These tankers in each wing. Where? Clearly, this is a lie, and I'm going to show you why they're lying.
Okay, first of all, these are mostly used for refueling smaller, like, private jets and things that can't pull up to the things. Most of the jets in airports that I've been to, they either pull over to a refueling thing, or at the you know, thing where they're exchanging customers and stuff, it comes out of the fucking ground. They're not bringing trucks over.
Lying. It is because jet turbines don't actually use fuel to fly.
Yeah,
Sounds crazy, but I'm going
out.
to prove it, so stick with me.
Okay.
This is the ceiling of an ancient Indian temple. These temples used etheric energy to power the temples. They were power plants. Very eerily similar design.
So, just out of curiosity, why don't we still use that etheric energy to power these temples?
Because they burned the Library of Alexandria to the ground.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
To jet turbines. What's also interesting is there's only 3 companies in the world that are actually able and licensed to make jet turbines, which includes Rolls-Royce, Pratt & Whitney, and GE Aviation.
Maybe for the U.S. military, but there's also Lockheed Martin. And they're the only one. Those are the only major companies that make commercial airline planes. Those are not the only jet turbine companies.
Guess who's the biggest shareholders in these companies? BlackRock and Vanguard. It would be pretty easy to guard and hide.
Shocker. Oh, man. Wouldn't have been able to guess that.
How these turbines actually work, what their blueprints are, and how they stole it from our ancient ancestors. Literally free energy hidden in plain sight, and I'm going to show you right now how it works. First of all, what you need to know is the higher up you go, the more atmospheric energy you can measure, and in turn, the more atmospheric energy that you can harness. Watch this video.
I have a set of balloons. I'm running out of daylight here, but I have carbon rod hooked up to those balloons and wire connected down to my multimeter. I had it grounded into my ground rod. I'm running out of daylight, but right now I'm about 30 feet in the air. I have the wire marked every 10 feet. I'm currently at 24, 27 volts.
Whoa.
Okay, first of all, there could clearly be a billion different things going on there. His voltmeter could be hooked up to a fucking outlet for all we can tell from this video. But aside from that, if you notice, that carbon rod is like 10 feet away from those power lines. Power lines are not I don't know what the term would be. I don't know the correct term. But they're not, like, if you were to grab it, even though it's insulated, it will shock the shit out of you if you're close enough to the ground. They're not insulated sufficiently, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. So most likely, if that was legit, that's what that's from.
I have about 50 feet of wire that I can uncoil, but I'm not going to tonight. I'll do it when I have more daylight. But here's what happens when I start pulling it down. Now, here it goes down.
Farther away from the power line.
That is crazy.
This atmospheric energy is what we like to call the ether. It was on the periodic table before the world elites came along because they don't want you to know about the ether. This is the technology.
Okay, first of all, it's spelled A-ether. This is a chemical compound.
That Nikola Tesla was tapping into.
Say what now?
Used as starting fluid.
Yeah, used as starting fluid. Diethyl ether is what it is.
This is the technology that will give us free energy forever. It's the etheric energy. This is why you'll see on all the old world buildings, copper and gold plated roofs plus antennas. They were harnessing this energy and creating free electricity. This is exactly how they powered the old world, and this is exactly what they don't want you to know.
Hell.
You know, most of those buildings were built in a time when we Like, it's documented. Pictures, even for some of them, like very crude, you know, old school chemical style photos. But we have written documentation of why those things were put on, what they were for, what they meant to represent, all of that. None of that's there. None of it. And most of these photos are like CGI enhanced. They're not real. This is nonsense. You can buy small turbine engines. They're hobby. They're for like hobby aircraft and stuff. You can see how it works yourself. It's not magic. It's by definition science. Physics.
That's crazy, man. We got to start using this ethereal energy.
Yeah, and maybe we should clarify. So if you know more about this than I do, please step in. But I know a tiny bit. The free energy that Nikola Tesla was talking about was not free energy. It was an ability to share electricity wirelessly based on, yes, a certain amount of energy that naturally exists in the atmosphere from the exchange of ions and stuff among atoms. But the ability to harness that, I mean, just like anything else, energy exists, right? We can convert stuff into energy, and we can convert energy into work. But it also does just exist. It's harnessing it that is costly, not necessarily generating it. Generating it is proven to be easier than harnessing what's naturally there because it's so spread out. And a lot of people think that, oh, the government buried the ability to do that. We could have free energy everywhere that's just, that costs nothing and there's no way to meter it. Now, the fact there's no way to meter it, there is something to that. Because if it costs you money to make energy, you need a way to give it to customers in a way that they can pay you for it. And so if they were to just send it out in the air, there's no way for them to get paid while they're making it. But it costs them money to make it, so they can't continue to make it unless they get paid. That's what people don't seem to understand about markets. Markets aren't driven by profit, they're driven by need. Regardless, even putting that aside, it's not feasible. We wouldn't be able to have microwaves, radio waves, cell phone communication, the internet, satellite, GPS. None of that would work if we were transmitting 110-volt AC through the air. It would interfere with it all. You can only have so many different fucking waves of shit going through the air. We already have tons of overlap in these things that causes problems. That is really what killed the wireless electricity thing, is the fact that we started discovering radio waves and their immense value. Now, did Nikola Tesla have some scientific breakthroughs that the military covered up because we wanted only our military to have it? Maybe. I certainly believe that there are certain things that he might have been working on, and whether or not they ever prove to be anything, real or useful is a whole nother question. But I certainly believe that there's a reason the government took all his patents, right? I certainly believe that there are some things we didn't want to get out publicly. Maybe they've all since been discovered, too. That's the other thing, is like, there have been scientists after Tesla.
It's possible like the Da Vinci thing. It's like, was he pretty smart and everything and had these cool inventions? Yeah. Were any of them actually useful? It's just kind of like, it seemed like he was ahead of his time by a lot. But honestly, I don't know.
Well, and that's kind of the thing about Tesla, about Elon Musk, about Benjamin Franklin. They didn't make most of the scientific breakthroughs that they used. What they did was figure out a way to turn it into useful items. And that's what made them so much more well-known, because their names were now associated with things we use every day. But the men that actually made the discoveries, you don't know their fucking name, and probably happened a couple hundred years before that. So it's not necessarily that there's some incredible level of genius to either of these men. And I'm not trying to take away. Of course, they were very intelligent men. They were geniuses, right? But it's the combination of that genius with their ability to put it to practical use. That's what their true genius was. The ability to put the information to practical use more than their ability to discover things. Because again, most of the things that they put to practical use, they didn't discover themselves. And in reality, most of the people we know, most of the discoveries we know the people that put them to practical use, not the person that discovered it. All right. Do you have anything, by the way? I don't mean to keep...
No.
Okay.
I probably got to get going soon.
Yeah, me as well. I do have a couple more here. Trying to decide which one's worth.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
I got plenty more female cope videos. What is this one? Registration fees in Colorado. 1920s Germany. Oh, let's play this one real quick. So this woman apparently owns a roofing business. And she has some complaints.
Well, I guess it was only a matter of time, but it finally happened. My crew showed up to tear off a roof this morning in Green Township, and the neighbor across the street took an exception to the color of their skin and was belligerently screaming, threatening, telling them that he was going to call DHS, he was going to call ICE, you motherfuckers, get out of here, Americans should be doing this work, saying how he's going to blast my company online for hiring illegals.
Oh, there's the truth.
The thing is, it's not 1920s Germany. They're not wearing their green cards on their shirt to prove to this racist to prove to this neighbor that they have legal immigration status. Their skin is brown. And that's all he sees. That's all he cares about. I care about them. And today they showed up ready to work.
Or do you care you're going to lose the money for this job?
And I sent them home.
Oh, you care about them, but you sent them home.
Tarped and covered her roof. The portion that's torn off. And I don't have a solution for her. I don't know any Caucasian people who are installing roofs.
I do. I know many.
I called my distributor, who also doesn't know. I called one American Caucasian shingler that I know, who only knows himself. And I don't feel safe putting anyone with any status with brown skin back in this neighborhood.
Because he yelled
It's a real
things?
shame
Sounds like he
that
won.
we support the West Side so strongly. We support Oak Hills High School right around the corner, just with a large donation. And now I don't know that I want to work here anymore.
I know. One guy ruined it for you? I hate to break it to you, there's random bad people all over.
People like that, people like him.
Wait. Oh shit. Did you see that?
Him.
He's got a fucking American flag, dude. What a racist piece of shit. Did he not know there were going to be Mexicans working across the street? What the fuck are you doing with flying your American flag, you racist piece of shit?
You know, an American flag is a white supremacist symbol.
I also noticed that he's got a Mercedes and a VW. No American cars. and an infinity.
German's pretty close to being American, but it's not.
People like that.
Maybe he really is
People like
German.
him, who, by the way, keeps calling my business
Like,
line to
over 70%
complain.
of America's German.
People like him, that's who's ruining our country. Not these young guys who showed up ready to work today.
No. See, here's the thing. First of all, he yelled some shit. You didn't say he attacked your guys. He yelled some shit. Okay.
And he said he was going to call DHS. Okay.
Yeah, so, and apparently you're worried about him doing that, which tells me your guys probably don't have green cards.
Let me tell you this funny story from the other day. So I was on Omegle doing random video chats with people because I was bored as hell.
Omegle?
And I ran into this guy that was Mexican.
Really?
And I said, "Hey man, where's your papers?" And he goes, "Hey man, I was born here. I'm from America." I was like, "I don't trust you. Just show me your driver's license real quick." And so then he goes, "Oh, all right, man, whatever." And he wanders around his house for a little bit, and then he shows me his driver. It was just his picture, and it says California on it. I was like, "Oh, I knew you weren't from America." he was dying laughing too.
To be fair, that he could have been illegal anyway, because in California, you can get a driver's license if you're not legal. Of course, if you are legal, it costs you money to get that license. If you are illegal, it doesn't cost you anything. Weird.
That's how easy it is. Just show So what if he called DHS down there? If your workers are, legal and everything, no, they don't have to have it tattooed on their arm or sewed to their shirt. All I have to do is go, "Oh, here, officer,"
Yeah, we're going through a period of time
You might,
where
I don't know, stop work for 15 or 20 minutes, and then you can go ask that guy, like, "Hey, you going to pay for my downtime for having to call them?"
Sure.
Or just move on.
Or
be
just
like,
move
"Well,
on,
okay,
yeah.
if that guy seriously is a racist asshole, then just move on."
Well, and the thing is, we're going through a period of time where somebody let in a shit ton of not only illegals, but criminals and the like. Not to mention, we have tons of illegals that are living here illegally and ignoring the law, like blatantly flouting the law. It's your duty as an American, whether you're Mexican or not, to assist with the law being followed. And that means it's like saying, look, it's like saying that some white dude robs a bank in my town, right? Looks like me because he has white skin and is a 30-year-old male. And I get stopped by the police and I cry about it because I didn't commit any crime. It's my duty as an American to talk to those cops, let them know I'm not the person they're looking for, and let them go on with trying to find the person they're looking for, because they're trying to enforce the law. That's what we hired them to do. We hired ICE to get rid of the illegal immigrants. If your workers are not illegal immigrants, just take the 5 minutes to show them their IDs, that they're here legally or that they're American citizens, and move on. Matter of fact, as their employer, you could have all those records handy so that you don't have to worry about it. They don't have to stop working. They don't have to be bothered by it. But the fact is, you chose to hire illegal immigrants or even legal immigrants that were willing to work for a lower wage, driving down the wages for the American workers. And the reason you can't find any American to do that job is because you're paying less than an appropriate wage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. Every time. I got a second story that falls right in line with this. And this one is a little more compelling because I actually have some evidence that goes with it here. A lot of evidence, actually. Sorry, just 1 second. There we go. That'll have to work. Boom, boom. Trying to find it here. That and that.
Well, I guess it was only a matter of time, but it finally happened. My crew.
And look, maybe that dude was racist, in which case, okay, fuck him. But
yeah,
you're making a fucking mountain out of a molehill here, especially if your guys are actually legal. All right, here's complaining chick number 2. Mountain home farmer struggles to find workers as immigrant
It's just been
enforcement
harder
tightens.
and harder and harder to find those people to work.
Bethany Gotts owns Quay's Farm in Mountain Home, but now with fewer workers, a lot of the manual labor is left up to her. She tells me she's tried hiring locally, but it's been difficult to find people willing to do the hard work.
Finding a legal American here that is going to work as hard as an immigrant.
Notice the caveat there, that is going to work as hard.
Is nearly impossible.
She even posted job openings on Facebook.
I had 7 people contact me about it, and when I sent them the description, I had no people respond.
She says hiring undocumented workers is not an option, with serious risks for both sides.
One, you're going to get fined. You have unfortunately, an employee living in fear. They could get picked up at any moment, and then you're without an employee.
To keep her farm running, Gotts is hiring high schoolers and is now looking into the federal H-2A visa program.
I have endeavored to spend $200,000 to build a small worker housing so that I can get H-2 workers now.
You spent $200,000 instead of just offering more money.
Next year.
Gotts hopes for long-term solutions that support both farmers and workers.
The misnomer that farmers exploit immigrants is just so sad to me because, like I said, my friends and neighbors, we love our workers. They're our family. And they want to work, and they will work hard, and there needs to be a path for these people in our country because our government has failed them. And it is failing, I feel, the farmers.
So let's find out what in this description made these workers not want to, what'd she say, 7 people, but she sent them a description and they bounced?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's right here. This is what happens when I don't save it separately. I gotta go and find it again. $500 farm 2020. Let me see if this is the same one. First of all, it's only a 500-acre farm, and she has 103 varieties of sunflowers. The fuck?
Damn, she went in, huh? Really diversified her investment.
That seems unnecessary. Here it is. Okay. Looking for a competent ranch hand for a 4,000-acre plus, approximately 4,000 acres plus approximately 100,000 permitted government acres ranch. So most likely what that means is that 100,000 acres of grazing land that the animals are able to use. Located near Arco, Idaho, we are a small commercial cow-calf operation and typically run approximately 600 mother cows. We also produce 550 acres of alfalfa hay, underwheel, and pivot irrigation. Vehicles provided on ranch, housing and utilities available, not included. Based on salary and applicant's experience, position is full-time, permanent, and available for immediate start. Experience required 2 to 5 years. Salary $2,600 to $3,000 a month. What is that annually, Austin? $2,600 times 12. That's $31,000 a year. That's fucking minimum wage, basically. It's a tiny bit more. That's like a few pennies over minimum wage to do farm work. Hard labor. And look, I get that it's not, the best paying endeavor in the world. It's tough. But you're right. You're not going to find Americans willing to do hard labor farm work full time with 2 to 5 years of experience for minimum fucking wage when I can go flip burgers at McDonald's for $18 an hour. More than that in most places. What's harder labor? Flipping burgers or taking care of a 500-acre farm?
Well, come on, man. Really? You gonna do this?
She's willing to spend $200,000 so that she can get her cheap immigrant labor instead of just pay somebody $20 a fucking hour. And yes, we're really gonna do this. $20 an hour would only be...
Working on a ranch was much harder than working in a restaurant.
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah. When I worked in the restaurant, I never had to throw 100-pound bags of feed on my shoulders and walk it out to the barn.
Yeah, she's paying $15
I never had to
an hour.
bottle feed a foal that was clinging to life.
This is the problem, right? Is there are plenty of Americans willing to do this job. Lots of them. But you got to pay them a salary that's actually worth it. Again, I'm not going to go and fucking bust my ass on a farm, even though I'd much prefer to do farm work. For the same price, I can go and flip burgers and be home in 5 minutes when I get off work. Not to mention get a free meal. It's just silly. And so instead, she imports this labor, whether legally or illegally. Doesn't matter. It drives down those wages because instead of her being forced to pay more, and yeah, maybe having to charge a little bit more for her fucking sunflowers in order to cover it, she just brings in these immigrants that are willing to do it for less. And yeah, that means a little bit less money for her products in the store. Maybe. Minuscule amount. The amount that, despite labor costs being, your biggest line item, paying an employee more doesn't drastically change the bottom line necessarily. Now, if you're talking about 3, 4, 5 times more, sure, it drastically changes the bottom line. But if you're talking about paying them, I mean, fuck, she could double that and probably not have to raise her prices at all. If she did raise her prices, you're talking like a nickel a pound or something like that. You're not talking about something significant. And I mean, what would you rather have? The cheap products and no jobs? Or decent paying jobs with slightly more expensive products? And what's the right thing to do? Take advantage of the immigrants willing to work for less because their country is poor? Or take care of your own people first? Because, as everybody knows, you can't take care of others until you take care of yourself. And right now, our own people are not being taken care of. And that's the fault of our own people as well as the fault of our own people. It's on both sides, right? Worker and employer.
Mm-hmm.
But one side does have to step up at some point. I'll never forget at the first real job I ever had. I was doing maintenance for a timeshare company. I had one boss, absolute loon. He got fired. Next boss comes in. And this dude is just a... Let's put it this way. He was 40 years old. I was 18. He was making about $5 more an hour than me. As my manager.
Oh, man.
And He chose to do that. Why? Because it's easy, right? Anyway, there was something that had within, like, as we were still getting to know each other, there was something that broke or something, and this was in like a vacation town. Obviously, it was timeshare resort, so this was in a vacation town. There wasn't a lot of stuff in town. Sometimes we had to go to the nearest town, which was about an hour away, to get parts and things like that, where there were actually, you know, Home Depots and stores and shit. And something broke, and it was, you know, almost quitting time, and I was like, I'll run to the store and get it. I gotta go, when I get off, I gotta go into town anyway to get whatever. I'll just pick it up while I'm there. And he's like, no, nope, not doing that. Nope. I'm like, what? Like, it wasn't weird to me. It was nothing for me to stop by and pick something up while I was already there. And I just, you know, it was the way I was raised. Like, it's just what you do. And so it was really weird to me. And he's like, I've been there before, being the company man. You'll clock in tomorrow. You can drive there on the company's dime. I'm like, but I'm fucking driving there anyway. I don't want to drive there again tomorrow, first of all. Mm-hmm. Second of all, like, yeah, I can do that, but why? There's no reason for it. And that attitude, it always just, it struck me and it stuck with me, because it's like, that's why you're fucking 40 years old making $5 more an hour than me at 18. Because of that attitude. And that's also why most of our jobs have been replaced by immigrants. You notice she said that we'll work as hard. I agree, there's a work ethic problem. But you also might inspire somebody to work a little harder if they actually make a decent wage. I don't have a problem with the decent wage arguments. I have a problem with saying government should fix that by raising the wage, because then that just fucks us all. You can't just magically raise the wage of everything to the same amount. That just causes inflation. In reality, if McDonald's is paying $18 an hour, that farm should be paying $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year. That's fucking hard labor. And it pays pretty good. I know damn well she's making some decent money on that 500-acre farm. And look, there's risks that you got to take with that too. Sometimes your whole crop gets wiped out and you're fucked for a year. But the years that you are doing good, you're doing pretty good. And if you're smart and operate a farm intelligently, you'll balance that income out over the bad years. But anyway. All right, let me see if I got one more for us and we'll get out of here. Was there something I was supposed to cover and didn't? Oh yeah, Chinese social credit. We got to talk about this just briefly. So on Friday we have a special guest coming on from the C.H. Douglas Institute. Dr. Oliver Haydorn will be coming on with us to discuss something known as, let me look at it so I don't get it wrong, Douglas social credit. And so his argument is that America needs to use the Douglas social credit system as a better means of running our economy, essentially. Now, I don't really have much of an idea. I have a little bit because he sent me some videos to kind of check out and stuff in preparation for the show. But I don't really understand what this social credit, you know, when I hear social credit, I think of Chinese social credit. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. He claims this is completely different. While it shares the same name, it's not the same thing at all. That it is completely consistent with the Constitution and the American system of government, and that it will better allocate resources under our capitalist system. So I'm very interested to see what he has to say about it, to see what exactly it is, and kind of get some of those questions answered. That'll be Friday's show at, we're doing it a little bit early too. I believe it's 4 p.m. Pacific time is when we decided to go on. I know I should have this correct, or ready, but I don't. Boom, ba-da-da-boom. Sorry. Hang on. Yeah, 4 p.m. So we'll be going on 4 p.m. Pacific time on Friday, which would be 6 p.m. your time.
Mm-hmm.
Or 7 p.m. East Coast time, to discuss this. But before we get to that, I wanted to discuss the Chinese social credit a little bit and what exactly that is. First, we got a brief video here. This explains the Douglas credit system a little bit. This is just a brief kind of overview as a taste for what's coming on Friday.
Episode 30, a summary of the social credit monetary reform. So what is the social credit monetary reform all about? Douglas social credit, not to be confused with Chinese social credit, is a set of proposals to alter the financial infrastructure upon which our economy is built. The purpose of these modifications is to re-engineer the financial system so that it can finally benefit everyone in an effective, efficient, and fair manner. At present, the system disproportionately benefits an oligarchic few at the expense of the common good. In order to grasp, in a nutshell, the technical details of the social credit proposals, let us imagine a theatre as a metaphor for our economy. What would a healthy, good economy look like if it were likened to a theatre? In the good economy theatre, there would be enough seats to house the whole of the local population, 1 seat per resident. The shows scheduled at the theatre would be of ample variety and of high quality. They would also be presented at suitable times and as frequently as demand requires. In other words, a successful economy would be one which meets the needs of the population for goods and services in an effective, efficient, and fair manner, to the extent that this production and delivery are physically realizable. At our current level of technology, this would imply a phenomenal world of abundance, security, freedom, and leisure. Clearly, our present economies do not fulfill this desired potential. To one extent or another, our economies resemble the bad economy theatre, where there are not enough seats to accommodate the whole population. The shows are of limited variety and lower quality, and they are not presented at the most suitable times or as frequently as demand necessitates. So what causes this continual failure? The financial system. The present system is not properly designed to provide us with an accurate picture of our useful productive capacity or of the flow of real wealth. Instead, it systematically underestimates both. On the level of production, we don't have access to sufficient producer credit to catalyze all useful production, and so legitimate needs can go unmet. To refer back to our analogy, it's as if we do not have enough money to build the good economy theatre, even though such a theatre is within our physical capacity to construct. So we end up instead with a building that is half its needed size and only achieves a bit more than the minimal level of due functionality. On the level of consumption, we are not automatically endowed with sufficient income to purchase in full whatever is being produced, so that the market can clear and all of its associated costs can be liquidated. This is because the existing financial system is not self-liquidating. It generates costs and hence prices at a faster rate than it distributes incomes to consumers. The situation is complicated by the fact that the same system will only issue money as a debt or a debt equivalent. In order to compensate for this gap and to avoid recessions, pretexts must be found for the creation and issuance of additional debt money at the correct rate of increase. It would be as if our economic theatre, regardless of how good or bad it was as a theatre, had a ticket office that did not, as a matter of policy, automatically print and distribute sufficient tickets so as to ensure that all of the available seats would be occupied whenever a show is scheduled to play. In order to get the more tickets needed to fill the theatre to capacity, we would have to be engaged in the construction of additional theatres, whether needed or not. This would be the equivalent of forced economic growth, especially capital.
And so that would be essentially like a Chinese system of capitalism where the government decides, okay, we need more houses, so build more houses. And then you have this situation where they're tearing down brand new high-rise apartment complexes because they built more houses than necessary, which caused the housing market to crash.
Production. Capture tickets from theatres in neighbouring towns. This would be akin to exporting more than you import. Or else create and issue a special group of tickets to customers in exchange for an IOU. This will be equivalent to the issuance of consumer loans. So how do we fix this situation? We must make the financial figures reflect the physical economic facts. To rectify the production side of the problem, social credit proposes that we base the money supply directly on the useful productive capacity of a society, and that we then create and issue sufficient producer credit so that what is physically desirable and possible shall also be financially possible. To address the consumption side of the problem, social credit says that the misdirected and excessive effort involved in forced economic growth is not at all required. We can simply reform the ticket office by changing its policy. Subordinate the figures to the reality and make it so that enough tickets will be printed and issued for all of the seats available, as, when, and where required. The extra consumer credits, the additional tickets of our analogy, would be issued in the form of a national dividend, a payment distributed to each citizen independently of employment status,
now that part
as a shareholder in society, and in the form of a compensated price or retail discount on all consumer goods and services. By adding a flow of these debt-free consumer credits to complement the regular flow of incomes, prices and incomes can be brought into balance, and the financial system can finally achieve a self-liquidating and distributive equilibrium. And just like that, the good economy theatre can become our reality. The key is to use the money system to distribute power to everyone, instead of using it as a tool to concentrate power over others in the hands of a few. Let's run the financial system as if it were a gigantic cooperative in which we all had a stake as shareholders and from which we all had a right
Also
to draw
a
benefits
concerning
in the
word.
forms of a dividend and a discount. This animated series was...
All right.
Well, that's interesting.
So the CH stands for Clifford Hugh Douglas Institute. It's definitely an interesting policy. And just to kind of summarize what we learned there, basically what the system is right now, the claim by this social credit system is that we produce more than we're actually making money for. And so what this wants to do is to match the money supply to exactly the amount of production so that it's in balance, right? And so basically what that would mean in the current economy, based on this theory, would be that it would be easier to get business loans right now. That would be one way, or a reduction in prices that's artificial, but not done via debt. So instead of borrowing money, we're just matching the money that we have and its value to the actual amount of output. So there is a limiting factor on the value of the money, which is the actual economic output. Now, I still don't fully understand exactly how this would work, and that's the bulk of the questions that I'm going to have for I keep forgetting his last name. Dr. Oliver... I gotta take this off screen real quick. Hang on. Was it Hasten? Keep wanting to say Henderson. Dr. Oliver Haydorn. Is how exactly do we calculate the exact output in order to match the money to? That's what I don't really understand. How exactly does it look in practice? But it is definitely an interesting theory and an interesting idea. There are some aspects to it that kind of sound like modern monetary theory that concern me a little bit. There are words like stakeholder concern me a little bit. Stakeholder capitalism, of course, is a WEF in creation. But it's an interesting theory nonetheless, and so we're going to go through that. Really briefly, I wanted to mention today what the Chinese social credit system is. Are you familiar with this, Austin?
Yeah.
What do you know about it, as far as just a brief, from your understanding, what is it?
It's basically like your credit score, but it's based on your social life.
How good of a citizen you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's more or less how I understand it. And what kind of things does this do for you or against you?
I'm not exactly sure how to explain it.
Fair enough. I didn't have a huge in-depth on this either, but I do have a brief overview here, so we'll see if we can answer those questions here in a second. Social Credit System, or SCS, isn't a single nationwide app that gives every Chinese citizen a magic number like in a video game. That's the myth. What it actually is a web of interconnected government systems, local pilots, blacklists, and data sharing platforms designed to rate trustworthiness. Some are run by cities, some by the central government, and they all feed into the same goal, turning every citizen and business into a compliant cog for the Chinese Communist Party. Here's how it actually operates. They pull data from everywhere. Facial recognition cameras on every corner, traffic systems, bank records, court filings, social media posts, even reports from your neighborhood committee or village cadre. These are very similar to during the party snitches in the Soviet Union, where any one of your neighbors might be snitching to the KGB and letting them know, hey, you know, this person was talking about some pro-capitalist stuff the other day. And you might get a visit and either a beatdown or maybe a reduction in your, I would say pay, but they didn't get pay. They got credits, but whatever. Anyway, in one national model city, they studied, let's call it Marytown for privacy. Every adult starts with a 1,000-point score tied straight to their national ID. Then they hit you with 389 different rules, 124 ways to gain points for good behavior, but 265 ways to lose points for bad behavior. Good stuff would be volunteering, donating to approved causes, paying your bills on time, working for the government, or just publicly praising the CCP. Do those things, your points go up. You get perks like discounts on your heating or electrical bills, faster loan approvals, priority boarding on trains, better schools for your kids, and even public honors. Bad stuff includes jaywalking, littering, crime, playing too many video games, skipping a restaurant reservation, failing to pay a fine, or, quote, defying authority. That includes petitioning the government, even though it's technically legal, spreading what they call rumors, i.e. criticizing the party or local officials online, or anything that smells like political dissent. Those drop your score, and they drop it fast. Hit the bottom tier, and you land on national blacklists. What does that mean in real life? No high-speed rail tickets, no plane flights, banks can deny you loans, employers can pass over you for promotions, your kids might get pounced from good schools to bad. Some cities even flash your face and low score on public screens so your neighbors know that you are an untrustworthy piece of shit. And it's all automated. Algorithms and bureaucrats deciding your life based on data points. We also see this in some ways in European societies in their social programs. Europe does a similar thing where a board of doctors in their healthcare system, where a board of doctors decides whether you are worthy of getting certain care based on your status in the community, your age, the cost of whatever procedure it is that you need, etc. We saw this with Charlie Gard, where they decided his care was too expensive to be worth it because it might not even save his life. He was only a child. His parents wanted to bring him to the United States to pay out of pocket for care. They wouldn't even let him do it. They literally prevented him from leaving the country, and the poor kid died. Anyway, they frame it as building trust in society, which sounds, of course, harmless, but dig in, and it's pure social engineering. The CCP wants total obedience. Not just punishing crime, they're punishing thought, speech, and any behavior that doesn't serve the party's goals. Political offenses make up the biggest chunk of the severe penalties in some pilots. Not a credit system. That's a loyalty system. From an American perspective, this is what unlimited government power looks like when it's run by communists who've never respected individual rights. In America, we believe your life is yours. The Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Second Amendment aren't suggestions. They're firewalls against exactly this kind of tyranny. We don't want the state scoring us on whether we said the right thing online or volunteered for the approved cause. We don't want our government deciding who gets to travel, work, or raise their kids based on political conformity. The system is the CCP admitting they don't trust their own people to be free, so they turn every citizen into a permanent probationer. No privacy, no real due process, just endless surveillance and behavioral nudges until you learn to love Big Brother, or at least shut up and comply. we've already seen big tech try and enable similar things here, and certain politicians flirting with social scores, deplatforming, cancel culture, disinformation boards. The difference is, in China, the state and the tech companies are the same beast. And the penalty isn't just losing your Twitter account, it's losing your ability to live a normal life. Leftists try and enforce this here in the United States via social pressure all the time. The amount of conservatives that have lost their job due to bullshit rumors online is an ever-growing list. Regardless, that is, in a nutshell, what the CCP social credit system is. And so naturally, anything titled social credit should put us on guard a little bit. But this promises to be something different entirely, and I hope that that's the case. So I suppose we will find out. But kind of brings a different light when you hear, I don't know if you've seen the videos on X of Chinese people, oh, I love the credit system. It makes for a better society and everyone's great. Well, that's because if they say it's terrible, they lose points on their social credit.
Yep. There was a Black Mirror episode about it.
Yeah, it was the first one, wasn't it? It was the first one I ever watched. I don't know.
The first one was with Miley Cyrus, but it was the one with Miley Cyrus in it, but I don't remember.
It might have been. It was the first one I ever watched.
I was like 21 years old when I watched it. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was a long ass time
ago. It was a whole lifetime ago, man. Many moons.
So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you are in favor of a Chinese social credit system?
Well, yeah, it would definitely clean up all the crime in America.
I do believe that there is a place for a social credit system in a sense. The question is, who determines what? And that's really the hard part, because I do want to know what kind of people return their cart when they're grocery shopping, help an old lady across the street, help their neighbor when they need a hand or whatever. Like, I want to know and associate with those people. I want to know what people are into bad stuff so I can avoid them. The problem is when the government tries to do it, because then it becomes about ideology and towing the line rather than trying to make better citizens. You guys can let us know what you think. JBU@USA.com to send me an email directly. X.com/JBU_show. And Rumble.com/user/JustBetweenUs. You can join the conversation anytime we are live by going to Rumble, going to the video description, and clicking on the Discord link. And you can join. You'll pop up right here next to us and join the conversation. Tell us we're idiots. Whatever you want to do. We don't care. Though we reserve the right to kick you off if you're just being belligerent. But nonetheless, Austin, where can they find you?
MillerTalk.substack.com and MillerTalk_pod on X.
There you go. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else.
You could also find me at the gym or reading a book, but
yeah, I suppose you could, huh? Anyway, Oklahoma's a small place. Just go to Oklahoma, go to the nearest gym. Yeah. You'll probably find him. Yeah, so anyway, tune in on Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out Dr. Oliver Haydorn and the Douglas credit system. We'll find out what that's about. Austin, are you going to be here with us for that? Are you sure? Not sure yet?
Not sure.
Depends on when you get off.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see you then. With that, my name is Chris.
I'm Austin.
And this is... There it is, Just Between Us.
Bye, 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 bye. Wait, I want to be a little bit louder.
Yeah.
This is only between us.
This is just between us.
This is just between us.
Perfect. 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 Perfect.